All right, hey Calvin, so this is for you. We're going over multiplying binomials. So you did adding and subtracting. Everything looked good on that. Looked like you understood that. So now I want to show you how to how to multiply binomials, okay? All right, so there are actually two different methods, and you've probably heard of these before. There's a good chance that you've heard of these methods before. You probably learned this in Algebra 1, you may just not remember it. Okay, so there's two different methods, and we have what's called FOIL, right? That's an acronym, and then we also have the box method. All right, so I'm gonna show you both methods. I'm gonna show it to you multiple times. You get to pick which method you prefer. It doesn't matter to me which one you use. The class, a lot of people use both, so it honestly does not matter which method you use. All right, so, sorry, I'm trying to get another piece of paper. All right, if we start with this one, I'm gonna show you FOIL first. Okay, so FOIL stands for first, O stands for outer, I stands for inner, and L stands for last. And what this tells you is the order of how to multiply the numbers. Okay, so this is just an acronym. It just helps you keep things organized on how you are going to multiply. So if we're doing number 1 and we're going to use FOIL, so P plus 2 and negative 8P minus 8. You may want to write these down as I'm doing them as well, so that might help you learn it as well. Okay, so we're going to start with F, which is first. So you see we have two sets of parentheses. I'm going to multiply the first number, the first term in each set of parentheses. That's F. So here to here. So there's really a number, there's a 1 in front of here, right? We know there's a 1 in front. So we take our number in front times the number in front. So 1 times negative 8 gives me negative 8. P times P becomes P squared. Okay, so when we have variables, P times P, another way to write that is just P squared. Okay, so now when we added and subtracted, our variables and our exponents never changed. Now when you multiply, they will change. Okay, all right, and then O for outer, so we're going to the outer two numbers of the parentheses. So now I'm going to go from P over here to negative 8. So P times negative 8 is negative 8P. So this one didn't have a letter, right? So then I just brought down the letter from here. And again, took my whole number 1 times the negative 8. That's where I got this negative 8. I for inner, so we're going here. So inner numbers. So I'm doing 2 times negative 8, which is negative 16. This doesn't have a letter. This has a P, so I just bring that down with it. And then L is last, so the last number in each set of parentheses. So 2 times negative 8 gives me negative 16. So now what our goal is to look at this and see, okay, we have like terms. Typically, not always, but typically the like terms are going to be in the middle, okay? So if I see this has just a P and this just has a P, right? This has P squared, so I can't put that in with this. So negative 8, I always add these. So I think of it as this number and this number, and I'm always, always, always adding them together. So negative 8 plus negative 16 is going to give me a negative 24P. Notice, again, we didn't change anything with the letters because we're adding. So we're just combining like terms. And then I bring down my negative 16, and I bring this down negative 8P squared. And this is your answer. All right, so when we multiply, we're going to end up with something like this. This is called a trinomial because it has 3 terms. 1, 2, 3. And terms are separated by a plus or minus sign. So that's why this is 3 terms. Okay? All right, let's do FOIL again for number 2. Let's try that again. And if at any time, feel free to pause the video and try the problem, and then unpause the video and watch it again and see how you did. All right, so we have negative 4P plus 6 times 6P minus 6. So we're going to start with our F, which is first. So first, so negative 4 times 6 gives me negative 24p. And then O for outer, so the outer 2. So negative 4 times negative 6 becomes a positive 24. And then I bring down this p. Oh, I apologize. Look what I did wrong. I was not even thinking. The very first one, negative 4p times 6p, this should be p squared, right? Because p times p is p squared. Okay? Apologize for that. All right, and then going on to inner, so so 6 times 6 is 36p. And then L for last, 6 times negative 6 is negative 36. And then we check out the middle terms. We can combine those. They both have just a p with them. So again, we're looking at a positive 24 plus a positive 36, which is going to give me 60p. Bring down my minus 36 and bring down the negative 24p squared. And this is your answer. The 60 right here has a plus because when I added these two numbers together, this was a positive answer. Okay, so that's FOIL, all right? So it's kind of that first, outer, inner, last. It kind of just gives you that acronym. So basically you're taking the first term and the first parentheses, multiply it by both of these. Then you take the second term in the first parentheses and multiply it by both of these. Again, FOIL just helps you kind of keep your order. All right, let me show you box method. All right, so we're going to do 3 and 4 with the box method. All right, so box method is pretty much exactly what it sounds like. We're going to start off by drawing a box. Okay, and then I'm going to split this box up into 4s. So that's our starting point every single time. I take the first one, and I'm going to write it across the top with one term above each square. So this is negative 2r, and this is a positive 8. You are welcome to put that positive sign there, or you don't have to. That's up to you. Then I take the second one, and I'm going to write it down the side. So 7r. Now, because this is a minus 3, I have to put the negative 3 there. I don't have a choice. I got to put that with that. All right, so now what we're going to do is the edge of each box, we're going to multiply those terms and put the answer inside that box. So right here, I'm going to take this times this, and I'm going to put the answer right here in the first box. So I start off by multiplying my numbers. Negative 2 times 7 gives me negative 14. R times R gives me R squared. All right, and then we go over here. So at the top of this box is 8. On the side of this box is 7R. So I'm taking 7 times 8 is 56. And this is the only one that has an R, so I just put it with it. All right, then I go down to this box. I'm going to take negative 2R times negative 3. That gives me a positive 6R. So I did negative 2 times negative 3 is 6. This is the only one with R, so I just brought it down. And then this last box, this is 8 times negative 3, gives me negative 24. Okay, so now, basically this is the same thing as FOIL. We're still doing the same thing, it's just organized in a different manner. So then you look at your diagonals. I always circle them. And if you look on that diagonal right here in the middle, it looks like a plus, right? The way the boxes intersect. That is because you always add these two terms together. Every single time, doesn't matter, you always add those two. Notice this just has an R and this just has an R, so they're like terms. Okay, so we're just adding the like terms. Like on FOIL, when our two middle terms were the same, these are our like terms. So I start off by writing down the number in the first box, 14r squared. I add these together, so 6 plus 56 is going to give me 62r. And then the last box I write down as my last term. So same thing, same process of getting a trinomial as an answer, it's just that it is organized in a different way. All right, okay, let's try number 4. Again, if at any time you want to pause and try it yourself, feel free to do that. All right, so I'm going to draw my box. I'm going to put my terms. So I'm taking the first one and I write it across the top, making sure that I put that negative with that minus sign as a negative right there. This is 3k minus 7. So I multiply these first two. So start off by multiplying the numbers. So 4 times 3 is 12. K times K is K squared. Negative 3 times 3 is negative 9. And then I put the K with it. 4K times negative 7 becomes negative 28K. And negative 3 times negative 7 becomes a positive 21. And then I look at these diagonals. They're the same, so I'm going to add them together. So negative 28 plus negative 9 is going to give me what? Negative 37K. So that's my middle term, right? Start off with my first term, so 12K squared. And then my last term is plus 21. Okay? All right, so what I would like for you to do is feel free to rewatch this video as many times as you need to go back over. You are allowed to use whichever process you like. If you like the box method or if you like FOIL. It does not matter to me which method you learn and which one you use. It's completely up to you. So what I want you to do, so we just did numbers 1 through 4. So I would like for you to attempt 5 through 15, so that's 10. So hopefully just like the process of going over and over and over again, like it'll get easier and easier as you go. Okay, if at all you have any questions, feel free to contact me. I'll be happy to help or send another video or whatever I need to do. All right, thanks, Calvin.